Hello chess friends and welcome to your Zard of Chess channel and welcome to the last and decisive day of the SuperUnited Rapid and Blitz Chess tournament in 2023 that was going on now here in my home country in Croatia, in Zagreb. We know the winner of this prestigious chess event, it's of course the top grandmaster and the strongest player in the world, Magnus Carlsen. So big congratulations to Magnus, really an awesome performance, and let's repeat again what Magnus did yesterday because I think it was the most incredible story of this whole event. Magnus yesterday had the perfect score. He got 9 wins out of the 9 games that he played. It was an immortal performance, and as I said also yesterday, this performance should be written in many chess history books. So let's see now the last standings of the super event. Look at this: Magnus Carlsen of course on the first place, Jan Nepomniachtchi on the second place, Alireza Firouzja also respectfully third place, Fabiano Caruana fourth place, and Gukesh on the fifth place. I think this is really a fair result. Magnus Carlsen outplayed the competition yesterday, but also today I think maybe it wasn't really a brilliant performance like yesterday, but still Magnus got many wins today. Lost also one game against Alireza Firouzja, but in my opinion fully deserved here win in the whole event here by Magnus Carlsen. So I've sorted out now an amazing game here from this date 4. We have here Jan Nepomniachtchi with the white pieces against Magnus Carlsen. In my opinion, really beautiful, sharp little miniature here played by these two top grandmasters. So let's see now what happened. In my opinion, a beautiful game in the Nimzo Larsen attack. So here Nepo opened with the move b3. Magnus' response was g6. We have bishop to b2, and Magnus covers now with the knight. If you want to play something like here bishop to f6, it is a line that has been played many times, but then after e takes f3 and e3 or knight to f3, black will eventually get the grip on light squares. We'll play d5, c6, f5, and then we'll develop the dark square bishop, and the dark square bishop will actually become really the best minor piece on the board. This line is playable for white. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it, but it's a struggle to face really the monsters bishop pair here of blacks in the continuation of the game, although black has a messed up pawn structure. So that's why Nepo goes with e4. You cannot take, of course, because the rook is hanging. So that's why d6 here. Magnus prevents e5, but now Nepo plays a slightly risky line, f4. For instance, the engine likes here something like d3 or knight to f3, g3 could normal development, of course, and similar stuff, knight to d2, keeping a grip on this diagonal. f4 weakens also here a little bit the dark square in front of the king. Magnus Carlsen continues here in normal development, and now after move knight to f3, kingside castling, now d3 by Nepo, simply fixing now the structure in the center of the board. So Magnus plays now an interesting idea, e5, and it's a temporarily really pawn sacrifice. That's the issue I think about these weaknesses that you have created now on dark squares. Magnus is trying to break here Nepo on dark squares immediately. After move e5, we have f takes e5. Now Magnus goes with knight to g4. Interesting idea. You cannot take, of course. If you do something like this, then here the bishop is hanging on b2. So that's why you have to now keep the tension in the center of the board. In the game, Nepo normally developed now, and here Magnus continues simply the pressure around the square e5, again with the same tactical problem. e takes d6 is not possible because the bishop is hanging. So now Nepo plays queen to e2. Now Magnus simply played knight from g2 takes e5 here, and now d4 by Nepo. d4 is quite risky too, here to break and enter like this. But what should you do? You have already problems where to castle. For instance, if you play here something like knight to e5 and knight to e5 queenside castling, and maybe you could try to launch a flank attack. It makes in the beginning sense that you play the game like this. Actually, this is almost game over for white, believe me or not, because look at this, what happens. Bishop to g4, you have to cover. Knight to f3, you have to play g takes f3, bishop takes b2, this is everything forced. King takes b2, and now with queen to f6, black is even winning the game. Look at this. We have a check, and we will actually play bishop takes f3, and then we'll simply pick up one of these rooks on d1, or maybe here on h1. So it's, I think, already a lost game here for white. So see, after move knight to e5, where should we castle? What should we do? So that's why queenside castle we saw is not such a good idea. Even if you play something like g3, bishop to g2, then bishop to g4 is going to happen again. So here white is already in big problems. So that's why I think Nepo tried here to move d4. At least he has these two mobile pawns. At least he has this powerful central control. But Magnus uses now this moment, plays now knight takes f3, knight takes f3, rook to e1, rook to e8, pardon me, here hitting the center immediately, because both of these pieces are lined up now on the e file, the queen and the king, of course, the most important pieces of yours. So that's why Nepo tries again to get out of this tactical mess, but Magnus simply continues to pressure. Bishop to f5. This is the way to go. And look at this. All of the pieces of Magnus Carlsen are playing now in beautiful harmony. Bishop on g7, good. Rook on e8, good. Bishop on f5, good. Knight on c6, already in good shape. So it's really already, I think, not a good game anymore here for Nepo. Nepo continues with the move e5. Even if you play something like knight to d2, even if you try to protect the pawn like this, then d5 is going to happen. You have to pass through. Then we play queen to d7. You play maybe something like king to b1. But now even knight to b4 is the problem. You have to even cover with rook to c1. But now c5. So see, I think this position is so easy to play now for black. Rook to c8. You get simply destroyed here. Even if you take d takes c5, then this one is weak on e5. So too many, I think, already tactical problems, and we're now in move 13, and it's almost like white is lost. Really crazy stuff. So after move here, bishop to f5, Nepo tried somehow to lock the e file, but now Magnus simply took d takes e5, knight takes e5, knight takes e5, d takes e5. Everything is pretty much forward, but now comes the tactical shot, queen to g5, and now after move king to b1. Maybe you can pause the video and try to see now the best idea here for black. It's not immediately winning, but it's winning, I think, really important material. So maybe try to see here the best tactical shot for black. Okay, here there is a possibility of bishop to e5, although this pawn is covered, but here comes the problem. Bishop to e5, rook to e5, and now you cannot take here queen to e5 because you get this one. Bishop takes c2, this covered here the attack against the queen, so the game would be over. So after rook to e5, Nepo went here to with the move queen to f5, rook to d8 by Magnus Carlsen, competing now on the d file. We have bishop to e2, although probably here rook to c1, you have to, I think, cover simply your weakness on c2. Now after move bishop to e2, now Magnus plays amazing b5, and after queen to c7 that Nepo took, the problem is now the queen is overloaded to the defense of the bishop, so there's simply no good square. You cannot take, of course, b5. At least Nepo tried this way, queen to c7, but now Magnus played rook to c8 in this position. Jan Nepomniachtchi resigned. There's simply no good defense against bishop to c2 or rook to c2. Again, the same tactical problem. If you take the rook, again, bishop takes c2 comes with the check, and you lose the queen. So very wild stuff. Outplaying sort of your arch rival in 20 moves. So Nepo got destroyed here in 20 moves by Magnus Carlsen, which is really crazy. Magnus destroyed him with the black pieces, also really crazy. So really an epic performance by Magnus Carlsen. Congratulations again. Magnus gave us here really 4 great days here in my home country Croatia. So big thanks for such a beautiful tournament. But also the other players, I think, had decent results. Vishy Anand, for instance, also played beautiful sharp tactical games. Gukic is coming, you see. Alireza always sharp. Jan Nepomniachtchi eventually finished on the second place, which is also a good result. So really beautiful tournament we had here in my beautiful country Croatia. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed my coverage of this amazing chess event. We will maybe cover even more games from this tournament in the next couple of days. I'll sort out the best tactical games. I think many interesting ideas we have seen, opening principles, also cool new approaches in some opening lines and variations. So this tournament will discuss a little bit more with some more cool games for sure. So okay, if you want to see more games from this chess event so far that we have analyzed, here are some links of some games that we have covered. And if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. What to say, chess is the best, of course.